How has your art benefited your daily life or helped you grow as an individual?
It helps me think. So like every new piece I work on, it drags my focus into one thing for a while, and it kind of drains out everything else I have to think about. So working on one piece, it can take me like up to 6 hours, but I like it because I don't want to come back to it. I'd just rather power it out right then and there, and then all these things that are going through my mind before have just been all put into one piece that I'm doing, and that probably like centers me more than anything else.
What keeps your motivation going? Like, what keeps you going? What's just like your fire as an artist? What keeps you? What keeps it going?
The fact that I think about one day somebody's gonna look at my work and be like, "Who did that?" And then they're gonna see that I did it, and then they're gonna ask me for more of it, and they're gonna ask me what made me do it. I guess it's just the fact of recognition, that I'm gonna get recognition for something that I made with my hands, and nobody did it for me. That's something nobody can take away from me.
Mm, I know some artists have some deep rooted past. Is there something being want the behind wanting to be recognized for what you do?
Yeah. Um, I never really got recognized for what I do, so it was like in high school when I started taking art classes, um, and I started seeing that people liked what I did. It was like, okay, maybe I can be bigger. Um, Maybe I can do bigger things. It was like art was the one subject that nobody could really criticize me on. It was like, this is nothing but compliments. This is nothing but good attention. Um, I mean, that's like, being a little kid, I felt like I was in constant competition. Like, my brothers played sports and I didn't. I mean, like, I was a cheerleader, but all I heard was, like, that wasn't real and that wasn't a real sport. So all the attention was on my brothers and all the attention was on everyone else. And there was nothing that really gave me, like, a certain spotlight. And it was like I was always being compared in some kind of way. But then it was like my art was something that nobody else was doing that. Like, nobody could touch me in that area. So it was like, dang, like
So
this is
this kind of made your life large. It made you larger
yeah.
than your art. I mean, well, your art made you. Oh, it gave you a sense of almost being larger than your problems. I guess was what I'm trying to say. Like it, you essentially became your art.
Yes. I People see me through what I paint. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like without even talking to me, people get a sense of me from what they see that I make. So when I was making all these faceless portraits, um, people are like, what's going on with her? Like, she's got something deeper. Like, I had a guy at the last art show ask me, like, why don't you put eyes on them? Or why don't you, like, why do you just paint mouths? Um, and I told him I felt like I did that because everybody has a background and you couldn't get it by just looking at them. So I don't want to put anything on their face because now you have no choice but to ask what this person's got behind them. You know what I mean? So it's like when we see people every day, um, all we can see off tops is this person is either pretty or ugly in our opinion, or um, their size, whatever. But we're not obligated to ask them about anything because we just have an assumption. So if a person walks around with faceless, you're like, dude, this person's got something behind them.
Well, I hear you talk about the faceless paintings. Well, is it okay if we analyze a few of them? Or are you comfortable with that? Maybe you could talk about a couple of them.
Yeah. Okay. This one, well, this one's you. But so like one of the bigger points. So like this one, is it in the shot? I don't know if it's in the shot.
You're fine. You're fine.
It's completely faceless, but everything in the background meant something. So like at this point in time, your hair was a certain color because you were in a certain point of your life. Um, so this color meant everything. Like if I didn't get this color right, this whole painting would have been useless. And if I didn't get the roses in the back, it would have been useless. Like everything back here meant everything. This is just your platform. Like, it was just, it's just a head if I didn't get all the other elements of the painting right, you know? And that's like what made this painting. It's rare that I would have a project that came out exactly how I wanted it, or I visioned something and it was perfect from what I seen in my head. And this was one of those paintings. It was like I couldn't have done any better personally because it captured everything I was thinking about, you know?
What are your hopes for your art as far as how it will influence our society and culture?
I guess I would just want people to understand that you can be more than what somebody thinks of you, I guess. I mean, I would say that in a way like you're more than how somebody pictured you before. So I would want my art to make people think deeper about me than they would have before. So instead of like, oh, Milan's just this person I met at a party, or like Milan's just this girl I went to high school with, it would be Milan made some art and I thought it was dope, and I asked her about it. We had to talk about it, and just all this. I want somebody to have something bigger to say about me than like that girl from high school, you know.
And that's funny that you talk about the eyes and the faceless and not being able to see. And me also being an artist, I interpret it as well, no one really saw us to begin with, so all we had was, I mean, we weren't seen. So I got the sense, well, maybe it's you draw no faces and no eyes because it's just a representation of us not being seen for so long.
Right.
Now, and that's how the world views us. And most artists are kind of introverted, and we don't really want to be we don't really want to be seen by other people. So we do what we do and express ourselves through the art because we don't know how else to go about it. So we're all just at the end, like we have a voice, and art is our voice.
It's crazy that you said that because like I do see it that way, as if like, for example, when I did these faces paintings, it started with I was really bad at doing facial features. I was so bad at doing eyes and doing noses and everything, and I had a hard time because like when I grew up, I felt like my face was not up to par, and I could never draw myself. I could never put myself perfect on a canvas or on a paper because it wasn't what I felt like it should look like. And so I stopped drawing them, and I felt like it wasn't necessary because it all went back to if there's nothing for them to look at, they have no choice but to go deeper into the person that you are. Nobody can say that they know you because they didn't make the effort. They didn't make the choice to really get deeper because all they seen was this blank face. So if you're accepting just this blank face, you're not even willing to get further in depth with who this person is, you know?
It's almost as if we're judging people, like we judge people based on first, I guess appearances. Yep, you got me, impressions, but they don't take the time to talk. And when I see the mouths, I'm like, well, that's what we do. We are artists. We will talk to you if you take the time out to get to know us, but most won't. They judge you on base what they see and not what they heard or the actual facts of what's about the person. They don't care.
And that's exactly why I made sure that any art that I did, you have no choice but to talk to me about it. And I want my art to make a conversation. I don't want somebody to walk past it and be like, oh, that looks cool, and that's it. I made it to where anybody who came and looked at my section had to ask questions or had to think. Even if they didn't ask me verbally, I knew that they were thinking about what my art's about. When a guy asked me why they only have mouths, I was like, because when you talk to each and every person, you have to listen to them. So if you're so focused on what this person looks like, or if this girl has her boobs out or whatever, and you can't help but stare at her boobs, why would you listen to her? So I made my faces as plain as possible, but the backgrounds had all the explanation. um, all of the details were mainly in the background. That's what what you were going off of. So like in life, it's like you're going off of this person's background and what they tell you about them, not what you see about them. A person can come on to look perfect and look gorgeous and whatever, but this person could be super insecure or scared of what people think about them. We would never know until they started talking. So that's what I did. I made it to where you absolutely had no choice but to question my artwork, you know?
Oh, I see you have an alien playing over there. Tell me a little bit about it.
Okay, so this is Lucinda, and I gave her that name because she has attitude. So it's like, when I had a friend that kept asking me for a painting, and I asked her what she wanted. Higher, there we go. And I asked her what she wanted, and she told me anything. So I just looked, and I'm like, I'm gonna paint an alien. And I was painting her, and I was thinking like what I would look like as an alien. And I have a lot of attitude personally. I mean, like I'm a Bay girl. I have this like way about me, and I think she has a way about her, and like her hoops. So I wear big hoops every day. I don't have any on right now, but I normally wear like gigantic hoops. It's just my attitude, and I felt like she had that attitude, and it was like the way I glittered her hoops and I glittered her eyes, and this was like my best way of interpreting. So like my eyes are green, and like my whole life, that's all I heard about was like, you have really pretty eyes. And I didn't realize till I was like 12 years old. I was like, oh crap, like my eyes are green. That's pretty cool, and that's the best way I could interpret that. I like my eyes as a feature.
Sparkle in your eye, exactly.
Right, and so it was like the best way I could think about it, and then I was just like, why not have her drip glitter and just have so much tude, and like her shirt is like I don't know what the shirt's called. It's one of those strapless shirts, and she's got her little choker. She just has attitude, and I felt like if there's a way that I can interpret myself as another creature, it would probably be like this, so like I also like the aspect that all aliens are pretty much the same size, well, from what we see of them. So it's not like I could throw a size on her. So I'm like, how do I interpret my attitude without putting my size on this person? And that was probably the best way I thought about it. I mean, green's my favorite color, but it didn't have much to do with the fact that it's on there. She's an alien, so she's bound to be that color. But I like Lucinda. I think if I open a gallery, that's definitely going to be the name of my gallery. Just because my attitude is Lucinda, I think.
Wow. I think you're a wonderful artist, and you're headed towards a great future in doing what you do, like, because you're interested into it, you're motivated, and you are doing this for a higher purpose than just your own gain. You're doing it to benefit us all. I believe you can show young women and as well as young men how to interpret themselves through their art, and maybe they'll start speaking up instead of, since they're so afraid to not be seen. Maybe it's time to start being heard, and this is the whole idea behind what I'm doing, because I want to give people a voice. I want everyone to be heard, because we don't get a chance to, like, often to express ourselves verbally as people and as human beings, and we need to connect to people, because we are social creatures. This is how we thrive, and this is how we grow. This is how we learn. And I believe everyone has a story to tell. Like I say all the time, we all, it's only a few ways to live life, but it's a million ways to go about living those lives. And we all connect at the end, because we all are the same. We just got there through different means. Exactly, different tunnelings. we all going down the same tunnel, but it's just a different route. Thank you. You want to say a little bit about yourself at the end?
I don't know. I mean, if you want to ask me real life questions, I'm so down to answer them.
It's all good, but I'm gonna cut the interview short. I thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. This is the most. I'm keeping it organic. I'm not cutting anything. I'm not editing anything. I'm keeping that shit in the video. No fucking.